Good evening, friends. Meeting again with the Thursday session, and we are continuing with our Aurum Group since last two lectures. At first, we have learned what is Aurum, the wonderful case where two extremes of Aurum are seen in one case at two different times, and we have learned both the aspects of Aurum. Last Thursday, we have learned three sorts of Aurum with three wonderful cases treated with those salts. Cases explains the remedy very easily, and that's why it is very much necessary to understand a remedy. If case is there, it always explains the case, explains the remedy wonderfully. Today, I will going to share the remaining part of that Aurum group. So, without wasting time, I will share the screen first with all of you, so that we can start. So very warm welcome to all of you in this specific session of Divine School. We have started with the understanding the aurum and its salts on the path given by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. And we have learned two extremes of aurum. On one side, very industrious, very conscientious, very vivacious, ambitious, hurried tendency in work. This is one side of aurum, and another side, exactly opposite state, work fatigue, indolence, aversion to work, aversion to family members. On one side, it is active memory, on another side, it is total loss of memory, weakness of memory. On one side, aurum is absolutely cheerful, on another side, it is, if it is failed side, as sadness, suicidal disposition, despair, contemptuous, all those things which you can see in aurum. One side more sympathetic, another side violent anger, abusive, the another opposite side. With the help of physiological mathematics, we have understood the vegetative actions and specifically on the nervous system. It used to produce the actions on following systems: the lymphatic glandular system producing congestion and indigestion. On the bones, that is osseous system producing keratan, necrosis, exhastosis. On digestive system, it produces gastrointestinal inflammation. On vascular system, it increases excited rest temperature, hypertension, atherosclerosis. In skin, copious diaphoresis, extreme sweating. And last, on the generative organs, the patients are excited. At the same time, some complications like undescended testes, that is also aurum. Then we have started discussing about its salts. There are 6 basic important salts which are there: the aurum ars, the aurum brom, aurum iodatum, aurum muriaticum natronatum, and last is aurum sulphuricum. Out of which, on last Thursday, we have learned. On the last Thursday, we have learned regarding the first 3 salts, the aurum ars, the aurum brom, and aurum iodatum, along with its cases discussed over there. Today, we'll not just revise them, we'll directly enter into the next stage. Whenever we have to learn the aurum salts, we must understand that aurum dominates its all salts, showing much of its own peculiarity. So we are able to catch aurum, yes, this is aurum case. But if you want to specify whether it is aurum mate or its salt, that you have to find it out. If you have a proper knowledge of salts which are associated, for example, arsenicum, bromatum, iodatum, or muriaticum, natronatum, sulphuricum, the salt which is associated, the group analysis as explained by Anne Shelton, that gives you a very good perspective about understanding its salts. And that's why it is too much necessary. So we'll see directly with the one case. It is a wonderful case in my practice because this is a case which was my student's father. He was 45 years, came with a cancer of tongue due to the tobacco habit since last month, operated at Prasad Hospital. And he came with a non-healing ulcer. After the surgery, tongue has non-healing indurated ulcer. It was very hard. It looks like leathery tongue. It is a very thick tongue with involvement of submandibular glands as well as caries of the upper jaw. So there was a big operation already done. His tongue was taken out, the part of tongue, partial half of the tongue was removed with a submandibular glands affected over there, and it was not healing. 1 month has passed and it was not healing. She came with very good hopes to me. He was blaming himself for his habits. This fellow, very conscientious fellow, and he 2-3 times he talked, doctor. Every time my daughter, she used to tell me, don't take tobacco, but I never stopped. And extremely frightened due to his illness. He looked absolutely depressed and hopeless with anxiety about his children and health. Because his daughter, who was elder one, not yet married, then he has a son which was more younger than her, and still responsibility was on him. Being the youngest in the brothers, this fellow have had a full responsibility of the whole family. In fact, he was the as if he was the elder brother, he was behaving like that. That was his state. Life space investigation was very important in this case. 3 months back, there was a history of strong insult happened in his family from his elder brother, for whom he has devoted his life. He was very conscientious person. He spent his money for marriages of his brother's son and daughter. And the same brother threw him out of the house and had done separation of the family. He became sleepless and the grief was not going from his mind. He was continuously brooding over the things. He wept a lot during consultation and he said, Doctor, this is the first time I'm weeping in front of others. And really he wept at that time. He was in big grief. And grief was that why it has happened to me. I have done everything good for them. Now, the question was that my daughter's marriage is there. She is in final year. And my son, who is younger to her, he is also learning. And still, both of them should get married. And there is no support in my family. And that was troubling him. And that has started producing a disturbance. The tobacco was one part of his illness, but this disturbed mind, disturbed nature was responsible. So what is the logic in this case? That's what you have to understand. On one side, you find a conscientious person, devoted his life for elder brothers, his family, everything done. He was responsible in the family. So it was clear-cut Aurum. When I have given him an appointment, he came right at the sharp timing. That is the meticulousness of Aurum was there. But on another side, what his daughters told me, that he was sitting in one side, never talking to anyone. He was brooding himself. He is never sleeping at the night. And all those things. Another side of the coin was showing a muriaticum group, a brooding tendency, remaining aloof, taciturn, doesn't want to share anything, saturating the grief. And that's all those things of the miraticum which were there. So thought was very clear in my mind. This is what I used to think when I used to treat the cases with pathological cases. I used to think this synthetic way. This thought generally I used to use. I have learned it from the N. Sholton, who has given very nice in his homeopathy and minerals, the groups, remedy groups, that on one side cations, another side anions, and how to combine, what is the group analysis. That developed my logic process. So this is what I have used in this case, and I have selected Aurum miraticum. What is the aurum miraticum? We'll learn the aurum miraticum. In aurum miraticum, there is always anxiety for the health. Extremely anxious person, prone to be palpitations. There is the insomnia, sciatic neuralgia, depression, with deep inner anxiety about the health, anger and depression. He's angry because he's sick. That is the problem with the aurum. They cannot work, they cannot do anything. The industrious person, when cannot do anything, they becomes angry. Angry when thinking about his complaints. Deeply affected by the grief, by insults, by mortification, with extreme mental and physical restlessness. See, this you have to understand. This is aurum miraticum, and this is what we are seeing in the case. This is the aurum picture, aurum miraticum picture, ameliorated by wind blowing on their face, delicate constitution, specifically aurum miraticum, very heart specific heart remedy. It is the pathological processes, pathologies you can commonly find it out with the aurum miraticum. Diabetes with polyuria, mostly at night, hemorrhage from the uterus at the planetary, the catarrhal and glandular affections, cancerous glands. See, miasm is more cancerous, psychosyphilitic. Caries of the joints with nightly boring and gnawing pains aggravated at night, or fullness of the veins all over the body, aggravated by exertion in walking. Left-sided headaches with the pain in the region of left frontal sinus on bending the head forward. Are you getting my voice? Just see, check it again. I think it's audible. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Sometimes it happens because of some problem with the net. Left-sided headaches with the pain in the region of left frontal sinus when bending the head forward. Inflammation of the edges of eyelids. See, this is the real picture of the aurum metallic, aurum miraticum. Then see, swelling on the left side of nose, ulcina scrofulosa means associated with the glandular affections, with unbearable odor, sudden running of the pus from the nose, caries of the upper jaw with exostosis of the right cheek, very typical. Caries of the bones of the maxilla, mandible, cancer of the tongue becomes very harder as leather. A heavy ring of warts around the anus, condylomata, excrescences near anus. Condylomata lata is the psychotic affection, happens to be there in secondary syphilis. It is a mixed miasmatic picture. Syphilis gets mixed with that. The condylomata develops in secondary syphilis. Aurum miraticum, psychosyphilitic remedy, shows typical presentation of it. All the symptoms of angina pectoris which you get with the aurum miraticum. That's why it is called to be heart remedy. The swelling of the fingers, periostitis of the tibia, tormenting dreams of sadness, sleepy by the day, even at work. And this is the picture of aurum miraticum. So I consider aurum miraticum, and whenever such a big pathology is there, I always think about the LM scale, LM potential. Aurum miraticum, if you open the Select Materia Medica by Dr. Ajit Kulkarni, this is the monogram which he has mentioned about aurum miraticum. Aurum miraticum is congestive, lymphatic, exudative, ulcerative, degenerate, sclerotic, cancerous, scrofulous, a typical syphiliocycotic. And this is the picture. So I have selected this remedy. I have talked with him. I have shared many thoughts. I have explained a lot of things with him. Nearly about I spent 1.5 hours with him to explain him that if you consider like this and if you take it everything in a negative part, it will going to increase. If you want to come out of this situation, then you have to be brave and strong. I have explained that there are responsibilities on you. And then he accepted the situation, and I have given aurum miraticum LM1. Along with that, I have added Calcarea fluor. Calcarea fluor is a remedy very important whenever there is a stony hardness of the glands happens to be there. Cancers where thickness, induration presents, Calcarea fluor always helps in. And that's why in 6x potency it helps. So I have started this remedy and wonderful result happened. Within span of 1 year, gradually everything settled. He settled so nicely that within a 1 month, 1.5 months, the whole tongue was clear. I had everything. I had reports. I had even video of him. But unfortunately, I have changed my the PC and it is in there in the old PC. Whenever time permits, I will show the originals, the video recording. He recovered completely, absolutely settled. Nothing remained. Then he started swallowing everything. Everything was going on very nicely for 4 years. He was absolutely happy. So he recovered from CA tongue with our treatment within a year with increasing doses of Aurum. And there were again quarrels happened in his house after 4 years. There was a recurrence of malignancy when himself becomes absolutely hopeless. I had tried my level best to survive him for another year, but ultimately he went to the heaven. So this is what the Aurum Viraticum is there. Materia Medica Select. It is the name of the book by Dr. Ajit Kulkarni. That is the name, Ali. It is a good book having big sources. It is actually written by Dr. Tarkas, his guru, and later on edited by Dr. Ajit Kulkarni sir. It is a wonderful book. Dr. Tarkas, he has worked very hard in his lifetime, devoted lifetime to the homeopathy. So this is the case of Aurum Miraticum, where we learn Aurum, how Aurum gets attached with the Miraticum and what is the picture which develops. We'll turn towards the another case, one more case I will going to share. It is again a wonderful case in my practice because she is the lady which I have treated very early in my practice with multiple fibroids. So it is a good remedy, a good case to be learned. A 47 years fair obese lady, absolutely fair and absolutely obese, 85 kg with short stature, came with multiple heart fibroids, uterine prolapse with hypertension, with angioplasty done just a month back. She was posted for hysterectomy, but during pre-surgical checkup, she was found to be a case of coronary artery disease with tendency to arteriosclerosis. So no one was ready to operate her. She never got the permission. Then she came to me for treatment. She used to suffer from recurrent leukorrhea with vaginismus and prolapse of vaginal walls with uterine prolapse during exertion or while lifting the weight associated with lumbar vein. So whenever she used to work hard, the uterus get used to prolapse, and it is along with the vaginal walls it used to prolapse. Her USG shown multiple fibroids with inflamed ovaries. That was the picture in her case. So it is again a big pathology and challenge for homeopathy. In fact, I'm very happy that she has taken treatment nearly about continuously, consecutively for 4 years, 4 years, and all fibroids dissolved. She used to suffer from recurrent leukorrhea with vaginismus. Her USG that she was very hard working housewife, used to do everything in her house. There was no worker in her house, even though she was from quite high class family. She was quite conscientious lady, taciturn with tendency to keep the grief inside and brooding over it at the same time, never forgets the incident. That is the tendency with many females. They keep the things inside. They never shows that what has happened, but they never forget that. She likes to remain alone. That was another thing. She used to remain alone, solitude. Never used to get mixed with many people. She used to remain happy with herself. And when she came to me, she told me, doctor, I don't want to now get operated again. I have suffered from this angioplasty operation, and that's all. I don't want to get hospitalized. And now, whatever you'll do, you do, and I want results from you. And then she started treatment. I have repertorized this case. And see, here aurum is dominating throughout. The rubrics which I have selected: female genitalia, prolapse uterus, tumors, fibroma, myoma, uterus, then tumors, fibroma, myoma, heart tumors, um, hard uterus, prolapse uterus, climacteric period in, then uterus, prolapse of uterus, exertion from, prolapse of uterus, hardening with, prolapse of uterus, hypertrophy in, prolapse uterus, leukorrhea in, prolapse of uterus, lifting from, prolapse of uterus, pain with back in, and prolapse uterus with prolapse of vagina. If you go through the case, it looks purely aurum, but there was, when you think about the case, again wants to be solitude, remaining alone, keeps the things inside, taciturn, keeps grief inside. It is something where natrum plays the role, where the miraticum plays the role. And if you go with the first three rubrics, four rubrics, see three rubrics, first one, prolapse uterus. There is one more remedy at the end of that is aurum miraticum natronatum over there on the screen, which covers first three. There is tumors, fibroma, myoma, uterus, and the hard uterus. So I thought instead of just going with the aurum, if we think about aurum viraticum nitronatum, we'll produce good result. Then I have read the aurum viraticum nitronatum because it was very early in my practice. This remedy has the most pronounced effect on female organs, and most of its clinical application has been based thereon. Has more power over uterine tumors than any other remedy, says the Burnett. Underline this is too important. High blood pressure due to the disturbed function of nervous mechanism, arteriosclerosis. Female, there is indurated cervix, palpitation of the young girls, coldness in abdomen, chronic metritis and prolapses. Uterus fills up whole pelvis. Ulcerations of neck of womb and vagina. Leukorrhea with spasmodic contraction of vagina. Ovaries are indurated. Ovarian dropsy, subinvolution, and ossified tumor. See the uterine pathology, whole uterine pathology. A wonderful remedy, and it worked definitely in such types of cases. So I have discussed whole thing with her. I asked her to reduce her weight. That is more important for her for future. But they were typical obese that they don't want to. She is even today. This I have done 20 years back, but still she is my patient. For anything she used to suffer, she used to come to me. I started her with Aurum viraticum natronatum 6 with same calcarea fluid. Biochemic I was using right from the start of my practice. In fact, it is the backbone of my practice. So again, considering her uterine tumors, calcarea fluid plays the role. Calcarea fluid, one more important thing is there. This lady has a pendulous abdomen, very big, obese, and pendulous abdomen. In calcarea fluid, Schussler has very nicely mentioned about this. That lacks the strength, abdominal muscles lacks the strength, and that's why they become pendulous. That's why there is a prolapse of uterus. That's why there is a prolapse of vaginal walls. The abdomen hangs down, hanging belly. And calcarea fluid is a wonderful remedy in such types of cases. So I have selected Aurum miraticum nitromatum along with the calcarea fluid 6x, and I have started it. And I have continued it. I have used Aurum miraticum nitromatum up to CM in this case. She recovered so nicely that all her problems started decreasing immediately after starting the medicine. Leukorrhea stopped, then prolapse got controlled. She was wonderfully recovered. Her fibroid started dissolving and gradually lost complete. I had a successful USG done every yearly. All the USG reports are there, and it showed a decrease in size of fibroids every year. So it was very good. I have treated her for a period of 5 years with increasing doses of aurum muriaticum nitroatum. All her fibroids dissolved with the homeopathy. She used to come to me even for minute problems with no further uterine or heart problem. So this is a wonderful remedy which one must learn, a female remedy associated with the tumors, associated with vaginal prolapse, associated with uterine prolapse, associated with induration of ovaries. Never forget aurum muriaticum natronatum. And now we'll turn towards the aurum sulfuricum. We'll just learn the materia medica. Uh, there is no time to for me to share a case. So I will show you the materia medica of aurum sulfuricum, the last salt. Aurum sulfuricum introverted and critical towards himself and others. The self, when gets attached or associated with aurum, they are always criticizes. They are always critical for themselves as well as others. The mood is disagreeable because of aurum, moaning and lamenting, gloomy, anxious, wretched feeling. There is anxiety, concerns of aurum. There is aversion to company. They alone remains alone and brood. Looks to be miraticum, but they are having egotism. That's a very typical with sulfur, which when gets attached with the aurum. They do not want to be touched. That much ego is there. Aggravated by coming into close contact with anybody. They are rather irritable, irascible, sometimes violent, argumentative. That is very important. They make arguments with others. That is the ego of sulfur comes out. So it is sorosyphilitic remedy. The sora of the sulfur comes up. Psychology of demanding beggar or becomes like a tramp is very important. Sulfur is like that. In sulfur, there is always a fear of poverty. They feel that delusion, they will come into want, and same gets attached with aurum, they are demanding bigger. Constant state of irritation of the nervous system, and that is because of the sulfur. Constant nodding of the head, like a paralysis agitans. There is a continuous movement like this with a great sensitiveness to touch or to least contact. Shows close similarity to the Parkinson's disease. It looks continuous movement like a chorea or continuous trembling like a Parkinson. Aggravating in the morning, aggravated during night. They always craves for open air. It is also good remedy for cancerous affections where ulcerations are persistent and paralysis of the organs. Headache is very characteristic, tearing headache associated with the corneal opacity, dim foggy vision, old age remedy generally. There is ulceration in the nose, stools are not too large, aching, pressing in testes with perspiration around the genitals, prolapsus uteri with yellow leukorrhea, close like aurum neuraticum natronatum, cold hands, legs, and feet. That is another important thing which is not common with sulfuricum, but that is present with this aurum sulfuricum. So this is again a remedy which is from sorosyphilitic mind. So when we have to learn those all salts, you must know the mathematic cleavage with which it is quite easy to understand. The aurumate originally is purely syphilitic remedy. When it gets attached with the arsenicum, it becomes sorosyphilitic, or sometimes it is tuberculosyphilitic. When it gets attached with the bromium, it is absolutely sorosyphilitic. When it gets attached with the iodine, a typical scrofulous affections which happens over there, it becomes psychosyphilitic. Aurum muriaticum, as already today we have discussed, it becomes completely a psychosyphilitic. Aurum muriaticum natronatum, it is again a psychosyphilitic aspect with cancerous affections, which happens to be there in both remedies, Aurum muriaticum and muriaticum natronatum. And lastly, what we have learned just now is the sorosyphilitic aspect of the aurum sulfuricum. So this is how one has to understand when you are coming to the right salt. If you are coming to the Aurum perfect element, then you should be able to come to right sort and come to a perfect prescription, which gives you a wonderful results in your practice. And this is what we have to learn. We have to go ahead with this aspect of understanding the remedy. So aurum miraticum depression, how it differs. Aurum arsenicum depression expressing along with the anxiety, especially about the future life. So those comes with anxiety of the arsenic, with continuously thinking about future life. Aurum miraticum depression with brooding on past events like miraticum aspect. Aurum sulfuricum where depression is associated with some hopes of sulfur. So this is what we have to understand. This gives you a different aspect of looking towards the aurum salts. And once you this understand this, then it becomes rather easy to catch the remedy from the case. So this is what we have learned today. We'll understand homeopathy in such a manner whenever time permits. Generally, hereafter also on Thursday, I will be definitely there with the something new so that we can learn whatever I know that I will going to share. So thank you being there. We have just learned a real homeopathy, the divine science. Thank you to Dr. Samuel Heinemann and homeopathy. Thanks to all of you who have attended today's sessions. Those who have not yet subscribed our channel, do subscribe the Divine School of Homeopathy. And those who have not yet joined our Divine School of Homeopathy, be a life member of our Divine School of Homeopathy, just paying 500 rupees by GP or PhonePe to my number 9890168872. If you want to have any queries, call Dr. Prerna. She is there. Her number is also there on screen. Dr. Rani, I'm very happy that you are there in this seminar. Really happy seeing you. You are the one of the member of our Sai Swami Clinic Parivar, and every time, whatever the grammatical mistakes were there, I used to find it out from your proper English. Thank you being there and be there on every Thursday. So thanks a lot to all members. We'll meet again next Thursday and daily on the Organon lecture 6 o'clock with same ID and passwords. Don't miss learning the organon, and after learning the organon, we're going to start with the philosophies also online sessions. So thank you being there, everyone. There are many senior practitioners who have attended this. There are Dr. Ali from Pakistan and Dr. David, he was there. Many more people are there. Satyanarayan sir from Chennai, he is there. Thank you, sir. You are always there. Your blessing should be with us every time. Dr. Varke sir, he's still in Canada, but still attending my sessions regularly. Thank you. Being an allopath, being a pediatrician, he used to attend the homeopathy. So thanks to all members, Jyoti, Dr. Manisha Anand, Kumud, everyone is there. I'm happy to see you over there, and we'll meet in recent future. Thanks a lot. If any queries are there, 2 minutes are there. Otherwise, we'll conclude. So thank you. Uh, you'll have a wonderful good night. Thank you.